peace of mind to get me through this innocence. A friendly enemies, they like to carve themselves in stone. And there are second thoughts to emphasize uncertainty, but I just can't wait for all these left-hand turns. No, I just can't wait for all these left-hand turns. All the daydreamers sing, we will find a way through this. All the daydreamers sing, this won't last forever. All the daydreamers sing, we will find a way through this. All the daydreamers sing, this won't last forever. To all the furniture on Baldwin Street, I was overwhelmed.
Come draw with me. I gave her some medicine to try to help her so that she's not feeling so angry. Not that I like to do it, but it has to be done so that she can calm herself. Right now, Brianna is diagnosed with several things: dissociative disorder, NOS, autism spectrum disorder, sensory integration disorder, psychosis disorder, NOS, mood disorder, NOS. And the NOS stands for not otherwise specified. All the doctors have told me and my husband to be prepared that usually they wait until the child's closer to 7 or 8 to diagnose early onset schizophrenia. Today, Brianna is 6.5 years old. Brianna has been slipping for the last 4 weeks, so we're exhibiting psychosis episodes 7 to 8 times a day on a minimum. Some days we lose her totally for the day. One of her personalities and voices is 7. Could you do us a favor?
What?
Could you draw us a picture of what 7 looks like?
Oh, yeah.
7 is a person who is actually shaped like a number. I think 7's got a lot to do with it today because 7 likes to tell everybody that there's nobody that lives in Brianna's head. I have been stabbed with forks, tomato steaks. 7 will sit there and punch you dead in the face and then swear up and down, screaming for hours, "I didn't touch you, you're a liar." Who's the one that throws chairs at mommy and stabs mommy and beats mommy up all the time?
Izzy.
Izzy.
But that was like earlier.
Yeah, that was a while ago, the last time Izzy was that mean. They don't really believe that 7 or Izzy or any of them are hallucinations. They believe these are people that Brianna actually becomes. I need you to bring me her shirt, please, baby.
Sometimes I'm really scared of her. Like, whenever she's upset, she comes at the nearest person that she can get to.
Why do you help her?
Because she's my sister and I love her. Like, that's what any other big sister would do, even if she has that illness.
I did my best to notice when the call came down the line, up to the platform of surrender. I was brought, but I was kind.
Today I'm talking to my class about Tourette's. Tourette's syndrome is hereditary. About 1 in 1,000 people have it. Boys have it 3 to 4 more times than girls. It's not contagious. I think it's important to tell one person, actually, because as my theory goes, tree of telling, if I tell one person, they'll tell another person, and then that person will tell 2 people, or 4, or 3, or 7, or 8. 1 year later, there might be millions of people just because that one person told so many people. There's no known cure so far, but there is medication that helps it. I want everyone to know, because I mean, only 15% probably of the world knows about it. It just really depresses me that no one really knows about it. Like, you can't hold in a sneeze, or you can't hold in a cough, well, maybe, but, or you can't hold in a yawn forever. It doesn't feel right. That's kind of like when I have a tic, and that's how hard it is to stop. So when you see me doing something annoying, it's not because I want to. It's just more like I just have to. Whoever has tics will be a person still. Not like you're bad or anything. You don't know anything. You're still a human, even though you have Tourette's.
I hope that people accept me who I am, and that I don't have to fit in with people. I could just be me. I want other people to think that, oh, well, she's really cool, and she's my friend, she has Tourette's syndrome, whatever.
Now I'm starting to speak out and be myself, and, trying to make sure that the Tourette's doesn't ruin my life.
Stand up, dust yourself off, and say, you know what, this sucks, but I'm gonna have to deal with it, you know?
Kids with Tourette's syndrome are just like any other kid, just with a few disabilities.
Let me know, is your heart still beating? Are we human? Or are we dancer? My sign is vital.
Pediatric bipolar disorder is defined by a cluster of symptoms that consists of the young person experiencing decreased need for sleep, and that means they feel that they no longer need as much sleep as they needed before, and they're not tired the next day when they get up. They're very talkative, and it's a talkativeness that's unusual from their baseline. They have increased level of energy. They seem unusually unhappy. They may have unusual thoughts about their abilities and things that they can do, which we describe as grandiosity. So all of a sudden a young person may tell their parents or convinced they're going to be a famous singer, and the parents say, well, they've not been taking any voice lessons. We don't know how that's possible. They may have some more interesting ideas and projects that they're jumping from at many at constant pace that the parents feel they can't keep track of them. They may start laughing inappropriately. They may engage in very risky behaviors. There may be sexual type behaviors that are unusual for that young person. And a cluster of those symptoms are often referred to as mania. And physicians look to see if it's been consistently occurring for at least 7 days. The other part of this illness is that the young person can also experience depression. So you can see mania, which is all this increased happiness and activity and decreased need for sleep, and then it can actually cycle to what we call depression. So a very low mood, feeling very sad, tearful, not able to get out of bed, maybe sleeping too much, poor concentration, not having energy. And sometimes a young person with bipolar disorder can have both those types of symptoms, the high energy, the decreased lack of sleep, the constant talking, mixed in with feeling very sad, weepy, and what we call dysphoric, and what we call a mixed episode. So you can see sort of a combination of those things.
Don't you wanna go for a ride? Just keep your
In many ways, Matthew is a typical 12-year-old. He loves video games, basketball, and his dog Maddie. But there is something different about Matthew. He describes it as an internal voice focused on his fears.
What's the name you gave it?
Mental convincer.
The mental convincer?
Yeah.
What was the voice saying?
What if I wanted to like hurt myself or something like that, and then I started getting really nervous and I didn't know what to do, and then just the thought just kept on rolling and rolling in my head.
Matthew has obsessive-compulsive disorder, or pediatric OCD, a brain disorder in which obsessive thoughts lead to extreme anxiety and compulsive behavior trying to reduce that anxiety.
I used to have to keep my chair in and facing myself, or else I couldn't sleep. So when I'm going to sleep, it had to be like this, always. And with the door, I used to have it all the way open. I did it because I felt like it just had to be that way, or else I just couldn't function in the day or go to bed.
He had trouble separating fantasy and reality, and that scares him, and rightly so, because you feel like you don't have control of your mind.
There are an estimated 500,000 children and teenagers who have OCD. That's about 1 in every 200. The same number of children who have diabetes. And oftentimes it's genetic, particularly when it starts in childhood.
I think about it a lot like a medical disorder like asthma or like high blood pressure that can effectively be managed and can effectively be treated even if it's not fully cured.
You're not the best thing that I know. Never was, never cared too much for all this hanging around. It's just the same thing all the time. Never get what I want, never get too close to the end of the line. You're just the same.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is a combination of psychological, behavioral, and physical symptoms that result from an out-of-the-ordinary life experience in which one's life or integrity is threatened, or in which one experiences through others, witnesses somebody else's life in danger, during which a person feels helpless and hopeless and unable to help themselves. So people with PTSD will often recall the experience in terms of daytime remembrances, in terms of nightmares, in terms of flashbacks, which is a reliving of the experience. So the first group of symptoms is re-experiencing. The second is what we call avoidance. People will avoid thinking or talking or even recalling the event if they can. People will change in terms of their interaction with others, so they'll begin to isolate, detach, and withdraw from other people. What we call arousal. And arousal involves generally being easily startled. So people with PTSD will jump at loud noises, will jump at people coming up from behind them. The most poignant example of that was a Vietnam vet I saw recently who said, "Doc," he said, "I'm so embarrassed. I've never told anybody this." He gave me permission to tell it, by the way. He said, "You know, my little 3-year-old grandson came to stay with me. And you know how kids do. He came and put his hands over my eyes, without my realizing he was going to do it. He puts his hands over my eyes." He said, and all of a sudden tears start rolling down this big burly guy's cheeks. And he said, "You know what I did?" He said, "Before I realized it, I took my arm and I slung him. And I heard him hit the wall." This 3-year-old kid, he didn't mean anything by it. But this guy had this easy startle response, and when the kid came up and did that, without thinking, he flung him against the wall.
I would like to reach out my oh so quickly, and now I bite my tongue. Such is life as a salesman, but I just can't wait for all these left-hand turns. No, I just can't wait for all these left-hand turns. No, I just can't wait for all these left-hand turns. All the daydreamers sing, we will find a way through this. All the daydreamers sing, this won't last forever. All the daydreamers sing, we will find a way through this. All the daydreamers sing, this won't last forever.
Nobody say, nobody